All right, sports fans, it's another Friday, which means it's another Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson,
I'm Alan Howe with Easiway.
and welcome to our show.
It is.
So it's been a pretty hectic week for me. I know Alan's got some crazy stuff going on, and let me tell you, we're so happy that you're joining us today. We have an amazing show lined up for you with some really juicy topics, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But before we dig into that, we need you first to say hello. We're all friends. Hi, say hello.
Yep.
Right? Let us know where you're watching from, and also don't forget that this is a Q&A show. And even though we've got topics, if you've got something that isn't working or you need a little help with something, regardless of what it is, the reason this show exists is an outlet for that. So please chime in, ask a question, all of that stuff, because that's how the show works. Okay. So Alan's about to mute himself. He's got a personal thing that's going on, right? So anyway, so please.
And that wasn't it. That was someone else calling in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I turned it off.
Please, share that you're watching, all that stuff. We want to know that our audience is engaged, and that really kind of helps us with stuff. So anyway, so Alan, were you traveling this week?
I was.
It sounds like you were in a couple shops, right?
Yeah, I had a great travel week. We had the very first Blue Water Auto Reclaim in Ohio set up in Newton Falls at RS Imprints. It was incredible. I took some video. It's already been posted on Instagram. So go and check that out. I also did some video for just some chemicals and stuff on press. But, this is the typical thing when people automate of he's going, why did I not do this a year ago? He had screens set way up where they were just a bottleneck, Marshall.
Yeah.
And in 10 hours while learning the machine, 200 screens.
Yeah. Now here's the fun part that a lot of people don't realize. When you automate a process, that's when you discover what really isn't working. And usually it's somewhere else.
You know what I always say? Automation in any area will tell you where you suck at.
Yeah. So
you go from manual to automatic printing, it's going to show you where you stink as a printer. You go from automatic coding to coding by hand, it's going to show you where you stink at.
That you go back, that's backwards.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's going to show you where you're awful at.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Hey, wait, a case in point. Nobody ever goes backwards. Nobody ever goes, hey, we've got this auto device. Let's get rid of it and let's go back to doing it the old way.
Exactly.
That never happens. You ever heard of a case of somebody going backwards with automation?
Yep. Never.
Yeah.
So here.
That worried me for a minute.
No. I agree with you.
You're agreeing with me, right? So
in this case, where the big thing was? Why are these little spots happening? It's where they tape off registration marks,
right?
And they're using cheap tape. Now they're not saving money. And so I had their dealer bring up some better tape. Here, use it this way. And yeah,
great. That's awesome. I love it. I'm a big workflow guy, so that makes my heart sing hearing that. So that's
it is. And doing so many things right, just didn't realize the bottleneck and everything there. We checked, it's like I think over 40 Blue Water machines in the field now.
Great. And that's the first one in Ohio.
And there's one already.
Hold on, are there other states that don't have one of these things yet?
Indiana does not. There's one in Michigan, needs to be installed still. I don't think West Virginia has one. Kentucky may not have one.
Yeah. So guys, if you're listening from those states, that could be you. Okay. And the fun part here is, remember, this is a brand new product. It's not like this has been out for 50 years, right?
About 2 years,
brand new stuff. So it's new technology. So it's kind of fun.
And we'll talk more on one of our topics, but look out Long Beach. It's going to be a big time. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. Right. So, hey, we got some people watching. Let's say hi. So Brian's here. Good morning from Missouri. Good seeing you.
Brian.
Glenn's here. Our buddy Glenn. Hey guys from Kansas City.
Great seeing Glenn in Atlanta.
Frank's here from Houston. Good morning, guys. Good seeing you, Frank. That's all awesome. Really appreciate you guys chiming in and saying hello. And Glenn says truth.
Absolutely, on automation.
Yeah, I'm happy that Glenn agrees with us. I don't want to get on Glenn's bad side.
If Glenn doesn't agree with us, we're going to have to rethink, maybe what we say. So.
All right. So before we get into the show, I want to make sure everybody realizes what's going on with GSG, right? So there is a really super awesome contest that if you're watching this, you need to be doing this, right?
Yep.
And this is on you. There's a link to the so there's a link to the GSG. Like if you go, hold on, wrong one. The Go GSG website. Here it is in their banner. But if you click that, this is where it goes to. Okay, prints that pop. You can win up to $2,500. Okay, here are all the rules. But basically, you've got until December 22nd of this year to get your design to GSG. And there's some rules here, okay? Yep. You have to do 6 completed shirt samples. So it's a little mini print run, okay? Yep. And they want you to submit a written or video testimonial about how everything worked, okay? You can download and print this, okay? And then what's really great right here is there is all the inks that you could use. You don't have to use all of these, just use one of them, right? So if you want to do something with, I don't know, Crystalina, right? Do something with that ink and send it in, okay? And this is going to be a lot of fun. And don't wait till the last minute, okay? Because this is something, and let me give you a tip. What you need to do is to design something. You need to create a job in your system and just call it prints that pop sample, and schedule it like a normal job. Okay, order the shirts, schedule the art, schedule the print, schedule the shipping, do the whole thing like a normal job, and that way it gets done. If you wait until you have free time, okay, it's going to be January and you'll go, man, we never did that.
Yeah, exactly.
So so anyway, so here's the everything right here. Shirts, there's the address. It goes to Mark, right? So we really want you to get involved in this. And here's the thing I'll also tell you. Maybe you feel like you're not confident, and maybe you think there's a better printer out there that's going to win and I can't do it. The reason why you should do this is because this is how you learn.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. You're going to learn something that you never realized, and it's going to be fun, and just do it that way. Don't do it because you think you're going to win. Do it because you're going to learn, and you're going to learn something new. Right?
Absolutely.
Right. Soapbox moment over.
You know what, Marshall? And if they're worried about, making a list of how they're printing, what they're doing, when Mark on the video, if you go to GSG on the video describing this contest, right, Mark Spoldonic does a great thing of printing that shirt right there.
Right. Hold on. There's a video in here. So here it is right here. Right.
Yep.
So anyway,
but the way he does it, he lays out what he printed. Here's the inks, here's the mixtures, here's the squeegee durometer, here's that. And you don't have to do it in a video, but you can write it all down. It's a perfect way of doing it.
So anyway, so this is a fantastic thing. I would highly recommend you doing it. And it's going to be a learning experience. It's going to be lots of fun, and get it done, right? And by the way, if you need some help, let us know. There's some people on here who should be doing it. Do I need to call them out?
Well, I think Chris is
Brian. Balska, right? Okay. Bruce Kettle, that guy should win just because his art's going to rule, right?
Yeah.
And Hurley here, Chris you need to get into this, right? You need it.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, and you went up to $2,500. Not too bad.
Yeah. What is that in Canadian?
$10,000 in loonies and toonies.
Right. Hold on. Hey, Mark is here.
There he is.
Prints are already coming in. So, Mark, how many? Can you tell us how many's entered, or is that like, maybe you haven't counted everybody? I mean, but what have you seen so far? Are there some stuff, or they're just is everybody using the same ink? Is everybody using different stuff? Just kind of chime in and kind of maybe what you're seeing. Would be kind of fun, right? So, Marshall,
and two, when you're using a special effect, you don't, like you said, you don't have to use 12 of them. Good artwork with a well-placed special effect is killer.
Yeah. So, like, I've done tons of stuff with Crystalina to make it look like a snowflake, like
Crystalina, yellow sparkle.
So we did a bunch of shirts for Cracker Barrel, right? And it's the cardinal and the bird feeder with the snow, right? For grandma. You've seen that shirt.
I've seen it. Yep.
And then on the snow is an overprint of the Crystalina that has that little shimmer. Right?
I actually think my grandmother had that shirt.
So anyway, so you guys need to get into this thing, right? And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And
you can get it.
Connect me with a good printer. I'll do it, Bruce. You don't know a good printer, really?
Bruce, we can connect you with good printers.
Yeah. Hurley says, I'm still trying to source Avian in my neck of the woods, feeling it won't be here in time.
Right? There is Avian dealers in Canada.
There's a guy, what's his name? Zach Nito. What is his name? He works for a distributor up there. I'm not sure what they sell.
Yeah, I don't remember who they are, but
I don't know really many the supply chain folks in Canada because I'm not Canadian.
BRB Digital.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Kim's here.
Hey, Kim.
Good seeing you, Kim. I love hanging out with Kim at the airport.
At the airport, and I saw her at the show there.
I didn't see her at the show, but she was at the airport on the way back from Printing United. It was fun.
Right.
Okay. Well, one of the best so far is only 3 color with 2 specialty inks. Remember, these will be on display in our trade show booth throughout the year. I forgot to mention that.
That's right. That is incredible.
Yeah, with your name on it.
Yep.
Bruce says not locally to me. Okay. RGB Digital has it, but they can't tell me anything about blends because they don't know.
Go right to Will Flex's and Avian's website.
Right. Okay. All right. So
there's when it comes to blending stuff, when you're using a plush base or chenille base and you're mixing it with color, there's no rules.
Yeah. Oh, here's the other thing is maybe just use, let's go back to the list, right? I'm sure for sure just there's metallic silver, metallic gold, right? I mean, you can do all this craziness over here. You can just do glow in the dark. Okay. So like, don't limit entering the contest because you're worried about how to mix all this stuff. If that's your problem, just simplify it and do a couple of metallics, right? And do something badass using metallic. For you, hey, can you do a high density with a metallic on top? I bet you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't freak out about this. Do something that's in your wheelhouse, right?
Yep.
Right. So, woo. Hey, we got a lot of folks coming in. Charlie's here. Good seeing you, buddy. I just want to do 2 HD bases. Okay. Well,
that should be
for it, dude. All right. So we got that going. What was our first topic? Do you remember without looking? Did you write any of these down?
Not even write them down.
Oh, okay. So it is AI, the good and the bad. Okay. Now, what does this mean? Right. So I keep seeing people freaking out over AI, and this is about everything, not just my current passion, Midjourney, but everything. Okay. And here's what I'll tell you. And if you took my class in Fort Worth, you heard this from me. I use water as a metaphor for AI, right? And why is that? It's because one, you can drown in water, right? If in water can be bad for you, right? There's a lot of problems with water, flooding, whatever, right? But water can also make beer, right? Water is a life-sustaining thing that you need, right? So there's good and bad with everything, right? And if we only focus on the negative and we never really look at the positive things with AI, right? That's why a lot of people have, it's not ethical or it's bad or whatever. And there's all these doomsday things and so came out with this statement and whatever, right? But so-and-so is not coming out with a statement about how great it is or how you could use it. So should you be careful? Yeah, just like water, right? Don't get in over your head, right? And you really need to understand this stuff. And I think it's really important that we kind of do some things. And I'll have one instance that was released this week of a really awesome AI thing. And let me dial that up real quick because I have to do a special link to it. So this is, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Beatles came out with a new song this week. Yes, right. The Beatles. Okay.
So awesome.
And this is on YouTube. The song is called Now and Then. And I'm going to start it and I'll just talk over it. Right. So hold on. Can you hear that?
It's just now starting lightly.
Okay. So here's the new Beatles song. Yes, this is John Lennon singing, and this is John Lennon playing the piano. Paul McCartney is the bass. Ringo is the drums, and they got Jeff Lynne from ELO to play George Harrison's guitar, right? What's really cool about this is they use AI, because this was a backtrack from some long ago thing they never used.
It's just a demo track, a piano demo track.
Yeah, they use AI to take out the piano parts and the different things to isolate it so they can remix it so it becomes like a modern song. Okay. It's just freaking amazing. Okay. Yeah. Now, you can be a purist and say, oh, AI music is awful because it's not real. This is not how they really recorded it or whatever. And I'm going to tell you, from my perspective, you're an idiot because I love the fact that we get a new Beatles song.
You know what? And it is real. That is John Lennon.
Yes.
It is Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr on it.
Yeah.
And
this was released this week. Okay. This is an amazing thing. Okay. Now, I'm going to stop this.
I didn't know this.
You check it out. It's on Spotify, by the way. And if you have the Shirt Lab soundtrack like saved, I actually added it to the soundtrack yesterday. So
look at what Dean said. I didn't want to override you. You're running the controls today.
What did Dean say? All right, hold on.
Here, I'll get it.
AI is here to stay. Get with it, get passed up. Use the tools available to you, and also use them as grow and help you grow. Right? There's a music video for it as well. The AI to implement George and John to appear in the video. It's beautiful. I haven't seen that. Send me put the link in here. Let me get it. Right?
Dean, link us up, buddy.
And then Joe says AI helps to clarify your messages when you're not a professional content creator.
Oh, perfect.
And by the way, Joe, I'm a professional content creator. And I use AI all the time. So it's like if you're not using AI, you're getting left behind. Now, here's what I'll also tell you. I'll also tell you that AI can be used for nefarious bad things.
Yep.
Okay. There's already, remember the Nigerian email scam? There's already AI versions of email scams going out that were created with AI, right? There's already warnings about that. There's going to be deep fake videos, right? And there's an actress, what's her name? She was the Black Widow. What's her name?
I don't know.
Blonde hair. crap, whatever her name is, you know who I'm talking about. She's suing somebody right now because of some video they made supposedly of her doing something that's not really her, and she's going crazy about it, right? So it's just one of these things where I think that it's how you use the tool, right? You know, a hammer can be used to build a house. A hammer can be used to whack somebody in the head. Are we going to outlaw hammers? Okay. Right. So it's just how we're using things. And and I can tell you, and I had a conversation with actually this guy, Dean Kimball, in Atlanta about this, right? And he was telling me how there's a really great artist, and I know the guy, but who hates me because I'm like promoting Midjourney. And I can tell you that for me, it's like, hey, we can be using these tools to create and iterate faster, or you can do it the old way. But what's happening is all of your competition, all of the people sooner or later are going to go down this path.
Yep.
Okay. And so either you use this stuff or you don't. Right. And to me, it's just a natural progression of things. And the reason why I'm so excited about ChatGPT and the reason why I'm so excited about Midjourney is because to me, this feels exactly like it felt, because I'm old enough to know, when the Mac came out, when the computer came out, right? Like, I'm old enough to know what it was like before cell phones. I'm old enough to know what it was like before email, right? And so it's like one of these things where either you're getting with this technology or it's going to leave you at the station, right? And you can't fear it. You have to learn about it. You have to learn how to use it. And so that's really how I feel. What's your take on this, Mr. Howe?
Well, with any technology that comes up, there's going to be always good and bad. And there's always going to be the fear factor of it, of what will happen. You know, let's go way back on there. You know, Marshall, when you and I were in school, we were not allowed to use calculators. Now in school, you had to use calculators. Now everybody just has them on their phone and stuff.
Yeah.
So there was the fear, well, they won't learn. No, wait, now it's a tool that you have to know and use it, because there's no way you're going to use slide rules and stuff like that. It's a tool, and teach them how to use that. So you have to be aware of the pluses and minuses, the good and the bad with anything. Yeah. Anytime there is something that's good that's invented, nefarious people are going to try to use it for their own corrupt deeds.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah. By the way, Dean posted the link. Here's the link to watch the video, and I'm certainly going to do that.
Only 3 hours ago.
Brian and John both gave me the clue, and Frank, Scarlett Johansson. Yep. Exactly right. And thank you. I don't know. I had a little Friday brain fart, so thanks. And Joe says, the more I use it, the more I see how helpful it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. But let me tell you, you still got to learn how to use it.
Absolutely.
Right? And ChatGPT is really super awesome. And how it works best is if you use it as a chat, not as, here's the one answer, I'm taking it. Okay.
Right.
So sometimes you put it in there, and then a really cool thing to say is, hey, thanks for the answer. Please evaluate this for weaknesses or anything that could be added to make it better, and give me a list of those ideas. And it'll evaluate the answer I just gave you. And this is ChatGPT, obviously. And then what I'll do is it'll go, okay, here are the 5 things that we found. Here are the suggestions. And then you go, okay, great. Now take those suggestions and rewrite the original thing with the suggestions.
Right.
I do that all the time, right? It's really great because it can self-regulate. When I write, I create blogs and stuff all the time. I will throw it into ChatGPT. Hey, read this and tell me what I forgot. Oh yeah, you forgot about this. Oh yeah, good idea. It's a wonderful tool, right? So you can't be scared about it. And currently, I'm playing around with DALL-E 3. I did an article about that last week. Midjourney is still my favorite, just because I think it gives you better images. Yeah, but there's other just fantastic tools out there, and there's a million of these things.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so hard to keep up. Right. And but what's really great is that they're all designed to make you do things better and faster. Right. But you got to know how to use them. Right. And if you're unsure, hey, raise your hand. Hey, I'm unsure how to do this. Who's actually doing this right now? Can I learn from you? I think that's really, really great. Right. Brian says, I just watched a podcast about educators who are making rules to stop students from using it, but they're using it for teaching. We learn to use tools and change our minds. There's actually a guy that I would pay huge attention to. His name is Ethan Mollick, Mollick. He is a professor at the Wharton School, which is a pretty famous business school. He and his wife put out a whole guideline about how teachers can use AI to help teach and create personalized instruction for the student. And they have a 4 or 5-part video series about how teachers can actually use it. It's pretty amazing. And so it's one of these things where if you're in that field, in that space, how are you doing it? Right. And, so how are we using the tools? That's just the thing. And we shouldn't fear.
Yeah.
We shouldn't fear this stuff. Yes. Do they need to know the concepts? Yes. How are we using these tools to make sure that the kids understand the concept? You can create a whole learning platform that can assure them on it. In fact, I did a thing last week with ChatGPT that educates your sales team on if you're selling on value or just price, right? And ChatGPT actually gives you a letter grade based on how you respond to what the prompts are, right?
Oh,
yeah, I showed you that at the airport. Remember?
Yep. Yeah. I do. I mean, let's face it. After a show, we're at the airport. It's
Well, I showed you before I actually published it. I was like,
yeah,
hey,
you did. That's right. Forgot all about it. So,
I can't believe you don't remember that.
I mean, you know how that is. Information's leaking out of your brain by the time we're at the airport. We were both exhausted. So and it's funny because I know people are saying, the one artist doesn't like it because, you're taking away the creativity, his skill and stuff. And Marshall, you're an artist. I could do Mid-Journey. I'm not an artist. I don't have the creativity background. It doesn't limit you, and it doesn't limit what you know, because now you're just using this tool to enhance your creativity.
Well, here's the thing with Mid-Journey. You can upload your art. You can upload your sketch. You can upload your photograph. You can be 100%. Doing things with your art with it. Okay. And also they just came out with this new style tuner thing this week. That's just amazing. Okay. Right. And I'm not going to get into all that, but it's just one of these things where it's only going to get better. It's only going to get more personalized. It's only going to allow you to do things faster and iterate and create. And I can tell you, as an art director, I had a dozen or so people work for me. I want to accomplish more in a day.
Yep.
This is how you're doing it, right? This is how you're doing it. So why take 3, 4, 6 hours to design something when you could design something probably beyond your skill level anyway in like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And then you're just separating it and adding a type and maybe tweaking it, or, it's never perfect, right? But you can change it so you can use it, and then you're done with that project and you're on to the next thing. That's the tool, right? So, all right.
I like it back in the day, like you said, we mentioned when the Mac came out and everybody started using computer, and that took away the big thing was it's just going to put artists out of business. No, it didn't. It increased the field.
Well, okay. I'm reading a book right now on paper, right? It's a history of paper. Ron Goodwin suggested it, so I bought it and I'm reading it. Actually, I got it for free because I got points on Amazon. So what's really amazing is in the history, there's always been some new technology that came out that's going to put this one group out of work.
Yep.
Okay. So back before paper, everything was on what? Parchment.
parchment.
Okay, guess what? When paper came out, all the people who were scraping, because what is parchment? Parchment is animal skins, right?
Yep.
So all the animal skin scraping people, okay, are instantly out of work.
Yep.
Okay. So there's always been this problem. Okay. It's another thing that's come out. Okay. So this is nothing new, right? All right. So, hey, Charles is here. Carlos is here. Dean says the White House announced an executive order on AI management on Tuesday. They want to find a way to regulate deepfakes and malicious use. Yeah. Good luck with that. Okay. They can't control. I don't want to get political. So, just stop me right there, Alan.
Yeah.
Sean's here. Hey guys, good seeing you again.
Always good to see you, Sean.
Kitson's here. Good morning. Good seeing
you. You know what? How great was it to have Greg at the show on Thursday?
It was great. You haven't been on the show since then. It was fantastic. Right?
It was amazing.
Yeah. So thanks again, Greg, for I know the effort that you took to be there, and I appreciate that. So.
And you know what? I think it was good. A lot of people, Greg, hopefully you saw the investment you made in people still going on. So, it's awesome. It was great seeing you.
Yep. All right.
Hey, to these two guys, to Carlos and Charles, you missed the first part of the show. Both of you need to be doing the special effects contest with GSG.
Yes, 100%.
Yep.
All right, cool. So, where are we now? We're into 2024 planning.
Yep.
Okay. So I've had several calls this week as a coach with people who are already starting their planning for next year. And what are we doing? What does that mean? We're focusing on not just sales. All right. So sales is the obvious thing, sales goals, revenue, gross and net profit, that type of stuff. But it's also operations. How you're going to get more done with less money. It's also supply chain. Who are your supply chain partners, right? Have you done a review, right? Do you have a scorecard for your supply chain, right? Yep. Are they doing the things? Are they supporting you? Are you getting what you need out of these people? Is there somebody better, right? This is not just the ink and the thread people, but this is your insurance agent, right? Yep. This is the dumpster people, or whatever options you might have in your wherever you live. You need to be looking at all this. And if you're going to make a move, January is a great time for that, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Customers, what new customers do you want, right? What are their problems? Do an 80-20 deep dive of this year's stuff. Who are your best customers? How much money do they spend? Who is the top 20% or the top 20% of your customers? How can you take those categories and find at least one of those a quarter? What would you need to do one of your top customers a quarter for the whole year, and then do the math on what that would mean financially for your business, right? Yeah. So this is a really good thing to do. Also, look at employees. I've always believed that you're going to lose maybe 10, maybe 15% of your employees due to attrition because, Maria gets pregnant and Bill goes to jail and Fred moves away and whatever, right? People just leave in a huff, or you got to fire people, whatever. You're going to lose 10% of your staff. So what is that number, right? Do you have next person up, right? When your press operator or your embroiderer walk out on you, do you have somebody right now that's trained to replace them? Why not, right? Also, think about your hiring practices, your employee retention stuff, your shop culture, all that is in employees, right?
Are you looking where you need to automate, where you lose a person, where you can just slip them right in?
So spend the next 8 weeks planning this stuff out.
Yep.
Right. Create a budget. Right. And I had a labor budget. I was always doing that. How much money are we going to spend? How much money are we going to spend on raises? So when Fred gets a raise in July, what does that cost you for the year? Well, up until July, he makes the same amount. After that, you're spending more money, right? So on an annual basis, what does that look like? Yeah. What does that look like for overtime? What does that look like for bonuses? What are you doing? Have a plan, right? You don't have to go into 2024 cold turkey. I want you to go into 2024 with a plan, right? And then there are action steps to achieve the plan, right? Because, any plan without action is just a wish, right? So we want to be not wishing on stuff. We want to be actually doing stuff. You need help with any of this? That's what I do.
No,
So, all right. So got some great comments here. So not invented here is the way most people deal with new tech. Scares the crap out of them. Yes. But at least the government is trying to take notice of the power of AI. They're usually extremely slow to adapt. And yes, it'll likely be a blunder, but it's an incredibly active topic in today's world. Yep. Matt says AI is more of a way to get inspiration and final results for me. AI art looks static and lacks a human touch still. Okay, well, Matt, are you using it right? I mean, I teach this all the time, and you can actually dial in exactly what you want just with the right prompts. So I would play with it more.
Like you said, Marshall, you can bring in the art that you've created with the human touch and bring it in AI and finish it.
Something a lot of people don't like to talk about, not just exit strategy, but business continuation in the event of 2024.
100%.
Right? Good idea there.
Let's talk 2024 planning, Marshall. Let's talk about where are you going to get education at 2024? What are you going to do?
This show,
always on the Marshall. Absolutely. But you know what? There's some big stuff happening on there. There is a lot of new technology.
Something's happening in January. What is it again? Remind me.
In January. What is that? Oh, it's hold on one second, guys. I gotta grab this.
Okay. So I'm gonna just talk here by myself for a minute. Anyway, so 2024, we got Long Beach. Are you planning on going? Have you signed up for stuff? I'm, by the way, teaching 4 classes, so it's going to be lots of fun. I might do a 5th class. I'm waiting on to see about something, so that might be a little fun. Everybody's always wondering what's the best show. To me, it's Long Beach. If you're going to go to a show, that's the one to go to. And look, Alan's back.
I'm back. It was not the call I thought it was.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Alan's got something personal that he's worried about.
I'll tell him. My mom's having a heart procedure right now in Florida, so it's okay.
I didn't want to spill the beans. So.
No, that's okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want him to think it's anything worse than it is or something stupid.
Yeah.
So
Matt asks, where do we find where all the events and dates are? What's happening? Well, Mother Google knows all.
Yep.
Just type in ISS Long Beach 2024 and the whole thing will come up, right? So that's what I would do. I don't have anything prepared for you, Matt. Maybe next week I won't be a slacker and I'll have that. But
right.
But we're also doing, just so you know, we're doing Shirt Lab. It's got 2 live events that we're going to do next year. And one's going to be in April, one's going to be in August. More details to follow. Lots of fun. And so there's lots of shows, Atlantic City, Fort Worth, you got the Graphics Pro Expo. Are they still having that now that the thing got sold?
They are. I saw Russ at the show, who was with Impressions.
But they sold it. He doesn't work there anymore. Do we know if that's even going to exist?
He was at Impressions and he's now at Casad, the new company. So I'm supposed to get with them and see what kind of changes there are. Yeah. I think shows are making a bigger, a lot of them kind of their education got real weak. I'm excited for Impressions.
And by the way, we're all over these people about education. Just
all the time.
We're lobbying hard for you. Right?
Yep. That's about it.
That's a really polite way of saying what's going on in the background.
But Marshall, how many are you teaching at Impressions this year?
Currently 4, and I'm waiting to hear about the 5th one. There's something that has to happen for me to do that.
I'm doing 1 in Long Beach. I'm going to do 2 in Atlantic City, it looks like. Yeah. So they're really wanting, with all these changes, we're not sure. It's new players.
Right.
But they're really seeing where they've missed it. I know, Printing United did away with it. Now they're bringing it back. I know from a quick conversation I had with Russ, who's now is it Kassad or Kahad, who owns Graphics Pro now. They're wanting to change some stuff. So it could be good.
Well, we should have him on the show or something, right?
We
should
should.
talk about what's going on, because we don't know. So.
And you know what? Not just for us, but for vendors, some of these shows are becoming not regional, but becoming the destinations. Right before COVID, Impressions Long Beach was becoming the international show for textile, because some of the other shows in Europe and Asia just were not cutting it as much.
Yeah.
And they were all coming here, and I think that's happening. Easiway looks like we're going to have our biggest booth there with some new equipment and new stuff.
In Long Beach?
At Long Beach, yes.
Yeah, great.
So I'm real excited about it.
Yeah, so it's just why do people go to shows? People go to shows to network with their tribe, Shirt Lab tribe, by the way, network with their tribe, take education classes, and see the new gizmos.
Yep.
Right? Those are the three biggest reasons. And what's really interesting here is like a very low percentage of the industry actually goes to shows every year, right? Most people go once every 2, 3, whatever years, right? And if you haven't been in a while, maybe you should go, right?
Yep.
And by the way, if you're going, we'd love to hang.
Oh, absolutely.
And Alan will tell you, I try to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner with different people every day. Right?
Absolutely.
My goal is to never eat with the same people twice, right? Because I'm maximizing who I'm hanging out with that way, right? And it's lots of fun. So, all right, we got some comments, right? So Dan posted a gigantic one as usual. So from a production art standpoint, there's one downfall of AI for the screen printers. Many who already only use AutoSet programs won't see the problem, but in comparison to art built in layers and channels, it'll be far better to work with from a production art and separation standpoint in the art. For AI, the digital AI colors need to be broken down from a flat image. You may not have a shirt background, and that is good, but the digital art content is not as great to work with. That's interesting, right?
Go two down. He can go 2 spaces down, and he continues.
Okay. But for a flat, you might have a shirt background that's good, not the best option. You can convert the art imagery into vector art. You also have more control of the art for steps. The digital also is not good to do to art containing compression fragments. So far, I've seen blocks similar to what you get from JPEG sources, but not as bad as JPEGs. For this reason, man, huge comment here. So, but
Dan, did you do this all in Chat GPT?
Yeah. So, like, you can upscale all of this stuff, right? I use Gigapixel, and it really blows up and has some really great stuff, and like takes control of stuff.
Right.
There's also Trace Journey, which you can put in a Mid Journey, so you can download a vector of whatever you're doing. So for the masses, AL is still their go-to, right? So it's just having to figure it out, right? Davis says, we just created an amazing art piece with an 18-wheeler using AI, add effects, half-toning and logos, and graphic software. We couldn't imagine doing this level of detail before.
Perfect.
Right? And the image was also created on the 3rd attempt, right? So a lot of people are spending less time creating things, right?
Yeah.
And I think I skipped over Matt here, right? So
you did.
I guess what I mean is knowing a lot of what the events are all called. Having a list of shows to research would help me, at least, maybe others, right? Okay,
it's
so there's
4 or 5.
Yeah. So there's ISS, there's Printing United, there's
ISS is not called ISS anymore. It's called Impressions.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, all these little name changes. Yeah.
Well, I'm an old guy, right? It's hard to change, right? PPAI in Vegas is great, right? So it's just, what are you looking for? That's what I would be kind of doing, right?
But if you look at Impressions Expo, Printing United Expo, Shirt Lab Expo, PPAI, that'll start getting you there.
Yeah, Shirt Lab Live is our event, and we're doing a live event in April and one in August, right? And we're building some stuff out, and then we'll have some release about what we're actually doing.
Yeah.
All right. So 2024 planning. What else? What do we forget?
Well, and always, I mean, we hit it a little bit. As always, I'm going to be looking at, for me, who are the targets I want to go after? Who are the dealers I need to prop up? Where did I fail? Where did I succeed at? Who exceeded their goals and why? There's just a lot. And, in an ever-changing landscape of acquisition and stuff, that landscape's changing all the time. So 2024 planning is going to look way different than 2023.
Yeah. Right. All right. Before we go to the next topic, let's run our GSG commercial real quick. And as always, we want to thank them for their support of the podcast. They help pay our bills, and we appreciate that. So real quick, here you go. Thanks, GSG.
Over the last 70 years, GSG has seen many changes in the apparel decorating industry. But one thing that hasn't changed is our dedication to helping our customers discover what's next. As we continue to lead the industry, GSG is here to support your business with industry experts. The latest innovative products, training services, and by delivering the perfect order.
There he is. I thought we lost.
Hey.
I was going to go solo.
What happened? Did you kick me out?
Not me.
All right. Where are we on here? So Greg had a great comment. Does anybody keep an updated published master calendar anymore? I would guess no. Maybe Shirt Lab can do that. That's something to think about, right? I'll look into that. Glenn's leaving. Hey, Glenn, see ya.
Have a great weekend, Glenn. Be safe.
And I might have to talk to someone about getting UX and RDB apparel involved in Shirt Lab for 2024. Dean, I'm putting together the sponsor package right now. I'm about halfway done building it. So I will, when I'm done, I'll email it to you. So
that'd be great.
We want all your money. We've got lots of bills, dude. We're all about it. Right. So, all right. So last topics today, right? I don't know if we can get to both. We'll get to this one. Reinventing your business, right?
Yeah.
So you were at a shop this week.
Yeah, I was at
something remarkable, right?
So
tell us, Alan.
I'm not going to say who it is because I want them on the show, but I was at a very large print-on-demand company, and they've been around for a while. It's one of the first ones to go print-on-demand, in the day and stuff. And it was a lot of direct-to-garment, a lot of screen, a lot of heat transfer, things like that. They started the drinkware. And I went up there, met the owner, met one of the VPs who I knew from a previous position, and they are scrapping it all. It is all going DTF. 8 automatics, gone. Direct-to-garment, gone. Drinkware, which was profitable for them, gone. And it is because of what do we do best? What's the higher profit? What fits our model? And what allows us to, focus on what's going best? And is it going to work? I don't know. But I thought it's incredible as entrepreneurs. But man, for business owners, maybe do we need to look at going, are we hanging on to something that we're passionate about? To just reinvent and continue on with new stuff. Now with the DTF, they're almost like Davis did. They got the stuff all from Japan, China. It's no one brand. They're doing it themselves, and they have, they're creating their own QC systems. They're creating their own softwares and stuff, and they're really. It was really interesting for me. So this is a very ballsy move, and they just make this on a whim. They probably tested a bunch of stuff. Right? Oh yeah.
Did they walk you through how the thinking, how they arrived at that? Well,
A little bit. So the VP that I know, I asked him, I said, how do you bring this to, and I'm not going to say his name, the owner, and I met him later. You know, how hard was that for you to bring that to him going, here's what I need to do? He goes, well, it didn't happen overnight. It was a long conversation. He goes, and with the caveat, I told him, this fails, you can fire me. And the owner goes, oh yeah, don't worry. Thought about that. But, you know, this was his baby. He started from the beginning. And now you're saying, this is great. It got it to this point. Now we got to blow it up.
Yeah. Davis got a little smiley face emoji because he did this years ago.
Davis, have I said I miss your father so much? So, yeah.
Joe says DTFing right now. Reinvention of your business benefits greatly from the outside eyes that can ask the embarrassing question like why and why not. Marshall has one of the best sets of eyes I know of. Yeah, that's why I wear glasses.
Exactly.
but thanks, Greg. I appreciate the compliment.
Right.
Dean says, Alan, we have a big DTG customer that think they're going to scrap it all for DTF and then eventually come back to DTG with DTF as it works.
And you know what, that might happen. The point is, man, to not scrap it all, but to keep changing and being fluid in your marketplace on there. Because they did a lot of screen. I'd been in there. I had some business with them. But I always thought how does this fit into there?
Well, I think the question to ask is, what lens do you view yourself as?
Yeah.
Do you view yourself as a business person, as an entrepreneur, or do you view yourself as a screen printer? So everything, if you're a screen printer, then everything has to fit the screen printing model, right? If you're a business person, an entrepreneur, then everything is about profit. Or everything is about other things, right? And so how are you viewing your business, right? What lens are you using to make decisions?
Yeah.
And the reason why a lot of screen printers don't like DTF is newsflash, is because it's not screen printing. It feels different. It's weird. It's a heat transfer, and I don't like that because I've done 25 years of screen printing. I'm not doing that. Because you're saying those 25 years are invalid if I switch to this, right? Which is not true. Okay. It's just looking at things through a different perspective, right? And, here you go. Good comment here.
Right.
Screen printing is a hammer, just another tool, right?
You know what? Exactly right. What are the right tools for what you're wanting to do? You know, do you need a cherry picker and a harmonic puller? Well, probably not. You're a plumber. Those are used for removing car engines. Do you have the right tool for what you're doing? And this company, I think, and we're talking 25 years of that, they were going to be all things to all men. They were going to do contract printing. They were going to go, be the fanatics and stuff like that and work in that space, plus do print on demand. And then they had a drinkware, and then they had like a pet thing, and it's great, but I think they're just going, okay, do we need to narrow this down in the way the economy and the world global market is? And this is a ballsy one. So I was glad I got to meet the owner. I have another invitation up there. And
so do you think that this could be an emerging trend?
I don't know. That's why I'm just bringing, this isn't how about that? I'm not that smart to know that. I just thought, I'm just going, man, when you create something that's your baby.
You should have a smart person on.
We should.
Do we know any smart people?
I do. They're not in this industry. I mean, we do. Greg Kitson, you want to come back on the show? Yeah. This is just, I just thought, I mean, we're not talking a small business that they're doing a couple 100,000. We're talking millions upon millions. Let's change our model. Let's just not do this stuff. Let's just do it all one way. But then they're scaling. We talked about scaling before, that they have went out. They are creating their own QC. They are creating their own, manufacturing SOPs and really doing it well. So it's extremely interesting. I do want to have them on the show. They said they would, so I'm not saying who it is.
Yeah.
And you know, and they've hit the ups and downs. They've been to the lowest of the lows and the top of the mountain. And
yeah,
you know, when there's new technologies, it all happens.
Yeah. So Dean says printing direct to substrate will always be the superior way. Regardless of the industry or printing style, the transfer process is the only real negative takeaway I can hang on at the moment. They all have their place in industry and for the needed production style. Well, it's all really based on your business model, right? And
Yeah,
if you're doing tons of online stores with one-offs, right, transfer is probably the best way to do it, right? And just because it's really clean, efficient, and there's virtually no errors, right? And you don't have to deal with the pre-treat, right? Now, you've got other solutions that deal with the pre-treat, right? Like are ready to print, with like their shirts, or eventually we'll have printers that don't use pre-treat, right? So it's all interesting, right? Greg says screen printing has been written off many times in the past, but still a valid choice is the best tool for the job discussion. Exactly, right? It's about what are you doing? What's your business model, right? Joe says ice cream printing since 97. As May of this year, we're fully DTF, right? So it works for his business, right? And I can tell you there's a lot of people that are screen printers, and their costs are crazy. I see a lot of P&Ls, right? And, and you start looking at this stuff about what it actually costs you to do the printing as opposed to another method or contracting it out and whatever. And there's people who have no business printing and doing the decoration in house just because they don't have the volume, but they have a lot of overhead, right? So it's just a matter of what are you doing, right? What it makes sense. What's the right, and as Brian says, what's the right tool, right? All right. Hey, we got a couple minutes left. You think we can squeeze the last topic in?
Let's try.
What's the last topic? Black Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. That's traditionally the day after Thanksgiving. By the way, newsflash, Alan and I will be enjoying that day with our families, so we will not be having a show. So, so don't look for us. So anyway, so Black Friday, is this a big thing for you? I haven't really heard or seen much about Black Friday right now. Is that just me? Am I like in a hole somewhere where I'm just not like seeing this stuff? What are you guys doing? Are you doing anything? Are your customers doing anything? What are you seeing? We would love to kind of take a pulse of Black Friday. So let us know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Black Friday used to be a thing of sales and deals and stuff. And I think it's just not, you can have them anywhere. There's Cyber Monday. There's this, you can create your own and do it. So I just don't think it's a thing anymore.
Yeah, right. Very curious. Please comment, let us know. And got some comments here. John says, I just scrolled past the comment in a DTF group where a guy was getting slammed for offering large discounts on his DTF sheets for bigger orders. Screen printing really shines when it comes to volume, and DTF most definitely has its place in a shop for small orders. Each has its use, and I spent a lot of time helping customers find what works best for them and their budget. That's exactly true, but I will tell you that some customers are now preferring DTF because they like the hand feel. They like the opacity. They like that. Right. And you're not going to get that with a print, right? It's actually becoming a preference. I've heard of that. Right. And maybe you guys have heard of it too. I don't know, but somebody told me that like a week or two ago. Dean says, I honestly think that the perfect bridge right now is the M&R Polaris Oval Jet Rock Now style machine. It's digital and all in one with an auto style layout and direct to substrate. Yes. I love that equipment. It's so cool, right? It's so cool, right?
Yep.
Very expensive.
Very much.
So like only a certain few can afford that, right? So Greg Kitson says Black Friday is a retail specific reality. Yes, but a lot of people do stuff for that, Greg. So that's kind of the thing. I got 10 emails for Black Friday's Prices Hustle this morning. Yep. From some madman 1880s ad representative. Right? Wasn't it created by Amazon, though?
I don't know.
Isn't everything Amazon these days?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, all right. Well, that's pretty much the show. So, what are you doing this weekend, Alan? You got any fun things going on?
Nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm hopefully rooting for my Knowles to beat Pittsburgh on this weekend. And I back when I was in college, I watched FSU play Pitt, and the quarterback for Pitt was who? Two guesses.
Who was it? I don't know.
2 guesses, Alan. You get 2 guesses.
I'm not even going to guess. I got another stuff on my mind.
Dan Marino.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how freaking old I
Got
am. Right. So anyway,
Yes, I knew it.
all right. So anyway, okay. So great comments here. Black Friday is dead. They keep overpumping it and making it sooner and sooner and sooner. Now it's even starting November all month. It's lived its life. Walmart was doing Black Fridays in the 80s.
They were.
Thanks, guys. Joe says, go dogs. Marino. Thank you, Davis. I knew you would know because you live there. Dan the man. Go Lions. Lions still winning? What's up with
they
that?
won again. They're 6-2. And it's a little weird here in Detroit. I mean, we're excited for him, but
Are you waiting for the shoe to drop? Is it?
We
how
do. Only because it's been since 1957.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Florida State. I keep waiting for us to screw it up.
Yeah.
So, hopefully they won't. And I'm so excited that we're undefeated in the ranked number 4 and all that. I keep waiting for them because they keep like starting slow and then they have to like second half, they just kick everybody's ass. I keep waiting for that not to work.
I believe, with the Lions, I think the worst enemy could be our own hype and what we want to happen sometimes, where, you know what, the good thing is they're winning the games they should win. They've lost some that we're going, what do you mean they lost? Well, you know what? You can't go from 0-15 2 years ago to this, right away. My thing is, let's keep going. Let's get them to the playoffs. Let's win a game. They're number 1 in the NFC. That's huge. Fan base is big here now. So first time in my lifetime. And I go back to Billy Sims. Been to a game in the Superdome when Billy Sims leaping it over the goal line was the first Lions game. So it's a little weird, but yeah, it's kind of cool, but we're a little uneasy.
Okay. That, I love that. That's great. You're not a fair weather fan. That's even better.
You know what? Always a fan, just always like, okay, let's see. It's the Lions.
What's the acronym you guys use?
SOL, same old Lions.
Right. Yeah.
And you know what? And it goes back and forth. Detroit has great fans, but there's always that faction where people are going, every time they lose, there's a little bump in the road. SOL, same old Lions. See, well, you can't make a mistake. Well, there's no perfection. Right. So, yeah.
Right. Frank says, thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Headed to Print Hustlers. Yeah. Hey, travel safely. Enjoy Print Hustlers.
Have a great time.
It's going to be lots of fun. And see everybody. I know a bunch of people going. So have fun with that. And all right, guys. Well, hey, that's the show. Love you guys. Huge shout out to GSG for sponsoring. Don't forget to get your contest stuff going. And we guys will see you. We'll see you next week. So,
all right.
Adios.
I will.